guys, we got some projects to do today. David's working on his deck. We put the pool up the other week and he's getting his deck all fixed up. I'm heading up to our food plot that we have up here on our farm. We're going to be doing this in 2 steps. What we're going to eventually do with that food plot is we're going to split it up half and half. We're going to do half with White Rage, and the other half is going to be Resurrection Clover and Chicory. Now we did a frost seeding, I think the end of March, with Resurrection Clover and Chicory, and that's been coming up. But the brassicas that we had planted in the fall last year were still in there. They've grown up, they've flowered and seeded and whatnot. So today I'm going to head up. I've got a weed eater. We're going to mow down those brassicas that are really tall, kind of open up that area for the clover that's there to continue to come up and grow. The upper part of our food plot up there, the last time David was back, was a little bit thin, so but that has chicory and clover in it. We're going to see how that's doing. I'm going to do an overseed of chicory and clover on the upper half. That's going to stay that way. We've got some Groganix 444 fertilizer from Killer Food Plots. I'm going to fertilize that food plot, give it a good feeding. I'm going to put a bag of lime down, and we're going to clear the entrance coming off of the main fields into there. I'm also going to take back some of the ScrapeFix velvet. I'm going to freshen up the vine and the mock scrape that we have coming into that food plot today. And then I've got another vine that I'm going to hang somewhere on our tree line going up that we could get a set in there with a hanging stand and a saddle, because it looks like these fields are going to be planted in corn this year, which is going to be great. We'll put a vine going up. They like to scrape, do a lot of scrapes up there, so we'll get another box scrape going, and we'll hang another reveal cell camera there. So I've got a lot of work to do. It's really hot, but I'm just going to take my time. I've got David's Polaris that we're going to load everything in and take a ride up there and do a little bit of work today. So come on along. It's going to be a fun time. This is one of our Killer Food Plot moments that we're going to be sharing with you throughout the summer on what we need to do. I'm going to throw on my Prevail Explore socks. These are a little bit of more of a lightweight sock that I can throw inside the muck boots, because I do not want to have short boots on up here. Ticks are out, it's hot. I did spray down with permethrin just to protect myself. We don't want to get bitten and get Lyme disease. So I'm going to get going, guys. I'll see you up in the food plot. Dead pine that broke at the root, held down across the path. I didn't have a chainsaw, so broke out the Easy Cut Wild Saw. Took me a little bit, but we got it. Alright guys, well welcome to today's project. I got a lot of work to do, so I'm going to get to it. As you can tell, we're up against the interstate. This is where our food plot is on our farm, but it doesn't affect these deer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with weed whacking and get a lot of this up undergrowth cleared away here and into the food plot, and then we're going to do an overseed, fertilize, freshen up some mock scrapes, put another one out, and we'll take you along. So this is part of our Killer Food Plot documentation this summer, and we want to tell you and share with you what we're doing, so hopefully maybe it helps you if it's something that you haven't done, and share the products that we're using from Killer Food Plots. So I'm going to kind of try to go over a lot of that as I'm putting it down and tell you why I'm using it and how it helps. But first things first, we got to get a lot of clearing done. can see, what I really was doing here was just taking off what the brassicas that were growing. We had some oats in here. We had some grasses and weeds that were coming up. So what I did was I took them down just a little bit below the top of where the clover was. It's always good to mow your clover. We don't have the ability to come back in here with a brush hog and mow this. An actual lawnmower would get it down too low. We don't want that. We want it to stay thick and try to keep a lot of the weeds out. So I got down just a little bit below, hit the tops of the clover, but the hardy part of it is still there, so it's going to continue to grow and produce. And then once we feed this with the Groganix fertilizer and put a little bit of lime, and then we'll come back in here again when we plant the white rage, and we'll feed it again, the whole entire plot, with the Killer Food Plot Soil Defender, which is going to really, a liquid fertilizer that'll go down, it'll get everything. And then what we're going to continue to do then is every 35 to 40 days, basically come back in here, maybe spray for weeds, and feed the food plot throughout the entire summer to keep the plants growing, build that root base, and really have a great, thick, lush fruit plot as we head into the season and all through the season. So I'm going to get through, and I got a little bit to do down here in this bottom trail that I want the deer to be coming up into. And then we're going to break out the seed. We'll do an overseed and fertilize it and lime it. We're going to hang another ScrapeFix vine. We'll freshen this marked scrape up here. And that'll be it. But we still got a lot of work to do. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. We'll be sure to answer them for you. And don't forget, this is the perfect time. It's June 6th that I'm doing this. We frost seeded this the end of March. So our plots have been growing for about 2 months now. They're really starting to pick up with the hot weather coming in. You're going to have weeds. You're going to have to spray for them. And we'll share with you when we spray for those weeds what the product is that we're actually using. But for now, the products that we're going to use will be in the description down below. You have the Killer Food Plots link, www.killerfoodplots.com. Use the promo code WBH10%. When you check out, you'll save 10% on anything. They've got some great starter kits that if you're new to food plotting, based on the size of your food plot, Nick's got everything already set up for you, what you're going to need as far as Groganix fertilizer, soil defender, seed blends, and whatnot. If you're planting in a wooded area like this, consider Resurrection Clover and Chicory, or even Killer Food Plot's crop duster. We're going to go with the white rage because we've got an area here where we're going to get the most sunlight. We get a lot of shade up there, so the crop duster works really well. But we'll share a lot of those products with you in upcoming videos. But I'm going to get back to work, and I'll touch base with you again in just a little bit. So we've overseeded. Basically, this is the line right where the entrance is. From here up, we're going to keep that clover and chicory, and from here down, we're going to plant that with white rage in a couple of weeks. So what we'll have to do is come in here with the disc, turn this soil, and plant that white rage, and then we'll refeed everything with the Killer Food Plot Soil Defender when we do that. So today, I'm going to do the whole plot with a bag of Groganix and a bag of lime, and that'll give it a good feeding now that we're getting into the hotter months. Once we plant that white rage, we'll do the soil defender, and then we'll get on a routine where every 35, like I said, every 35 to 40 days, we're gonna come in here with soil defender and Groganix and keep feeding our plots. That's gonna keep our plots strong in the root bases, growing with a good amount of tonnage as the deer start to forage on this more and more and more throughout the summer months as we get into the fall, and keep a good food plot standing in here, growing throughout the deer season. That's the main priority. It's great to have it like this now and drawing deer in here, but if you're not drawing them in here when you're hanging from a tree saddle or sitting in a tree stand, then we're really not doing ourselves justice with all the hard work and time we're putting into it. So I'm gonna get the Groganix, we're gonna do that next. All right, so we've got our bag of Groganix down, and this is the nice thing about this is it contains gypsum, black gypsum, so it's going to help deliver a lot of phosphorus, calcium, and sulfur directly into the soil as it rains, and which is what we want. We want to get the nutrients that is needed into this soil. I mean, this has been I think this is year 4 for us, or year 3. I can't remember now what I said. I think it's at least year 3 that we've been doing this, and it's taken a while to get it to where it's at, where we're really seeing a lot of growth. And it just takes that time and dedication, and in utilizing products that work. And that's why, you know, we use Killer Food Plot products, because Nick Percy has put a lot of time. He's a well-educated individual, puts a lot of time and energy, and just loves doing this stuff. And he has really helped us, you know, create some nice little kill plots in the areas that we hunt. Wally's area we're going to be working on. We're going to be showing you that. That one's coming up really good, and I can't wait to show you that food plot. It's been a hard food plot to develop, but I think this year it's really starting to produce, and if we can continue to feed it throughout the summer, he's going to have a great lush food plot. Last year the deer just hit it hard all summer long and devoured it, and we had nothing for him by deer season, which is why he didn't really see a lot of deer sitting in that muddy ladder stand. But our goal this year for Wally is to really develop that food plot, and I think we've gotten that figured out with the formula that we're going to be using and how we're going to feed those food plots throughout the summer months. So you know, this is a great product. I mean, you know, it contains a ton of organic ingredients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, carbon. These are all things. The carbon, that improves the, you know, poor quality soils and enhances the soil biology, and that is what we've got when we're planting in wooded areas like this, where it's never seen this type of a crop. It's always seen weeds and, you know, undergrowth and stuff like that. And what we've done is we've basically cleared this over several years to the point where we've had to develop the soil, lime it, fertilize it, and stuff like that. And, you know, with the Groganix products that Killer Food Plots has developed, that just speeds up that process that might have taken you double the time to develop and really, you know, reap the benefits that we're seeing here in what we do. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a bag of pelletized lime, and we're going to throw that down here, and then that's going to be it for what I'm doing with the food plot. And then we're going to freshen up this mock scrape and this vine here from ScrapeFix, and we're going to put another one out with another reveal cell camera, and then we should be good to go. So I'm going to keep going to work here. So I've completed everything that I needed to do with the food plot. We got the overseeding done with the chicory and the clover. We've got chicory and clover coming up. It's just not doing as well here, so putting down that Groganix fertilizer and some lime, adding that, giving that nutrients that it needs to grow is going to be a big difference, I think, in a couple of weeks as we get some rain coming this week and then warmer temperatures continue to produce. This is really going to blow up here with the clover, and then, like I said, we'll get the white rage in here in a couple of weeks once we get that stuff from our friends at Killer Food Plots. So what I'm going to do now is I want to freshen up this mock scrape and the vine that we have here. But you see I have a reveal cell camera right here on this tree, and this vine is starting to take over, and it's giving me a lot of false settings. So I'm going to pull out the easy cut pruners. We're going to clear that vine away so it doesn't give me false settings, and then we'll freshen up that mock scrape there. Okay, so I've been using the same stick. I kind of leave it by the tree where the reveal cell camera is. So I'm just going to rough up this ground here with this same stick. And we'll put that back over by the tree there. All right. So this time of year, you want to be looking for the purple spray bottle. Looks like a golf ball. That's your ScrapeFix Velvet. And this is the stuff that's gonna kind of get you set up for this time of the year. Deer in velvet there. Spray that there, and we're gonna put some of that down in here. Just mix that in a little bit, and that's it. We got our vine freshened up. Hopefully we'll get some pictures on that with deer coming to this even tonight. All right, guys. So I hope that you learned a little bit of something about what we're doing here with our food plots. I appreciate you hanging out and following along on today's episode. Again, what we did was I came up here. We had some weeds growing. We had the brassicas from last fall that we planted that were still growing. Okay, what we needed to do was weed eat that entire area down to about clover height, just a little bit. Took the top of the clover off just a little bit. Typically you would want to brush hog your clover plots. We can't get a brush hog up in here. One, we don't have one, and two, it's a really small plot to be able to go through with a brush hog. So weed eating it just at the tops, mowing it down a little bit, that helps keep it really lush. It's going to get a lot thicker. We fed it with Groganix 444 fertilizer and a bag of lime, and we overseeded about the upper 2/3 of the plot. That really gets more shade than anything with more Resurrection Clover and Chicory. And now that we fed that, we get some rain this week, it'll push that into the ground. This food plot should really start to blow up. In a couple of weeks, we'll come back here. We're gonna till the bottom third of this food plot and plant it with White Rage and triticale. And then what we'll do from there is we'll feed this again when we do that with the liquid fertilizer soil defender. And then we'll come back in 35 to 45 days, feed it again, liquid fertilizer, the soil defender, and Groganix. And spray if we have to for any weeds that may be coming up. And then just keep doing that every 35 to 40 days. As deer eat it, we want to keep that stuff growing, keep that tonnage above ground, really kind of continuing to produce and keep our deer coming to this area so we can sit up in here in deer season and really get a good clean shot. We've trimmed entryways into the food plot and let everything else grow up. Deer like the path of least resistance when it comes to going in and out of food plots and stuff. So we're making it easy for them. We've got a mock scrape with the vine from ScrapeFix right at the entrance of this food plot. And we put another vine and made a mock scrape about 100 yards down here in a tree line that we're gonna cut out and trim out for a tree stand set down here as well. So we've got a lot of work done today. It was a great project, beautiful day this Sunday afternoon, and we've still got a lot of work to go. So thanks for hanging out. As always, click the subscribe button. We appreciate your support at Bout Huntin. Use the promo code WBH 10% sign, WBH 10% when you go to killerfoodplots.com and order your products. They've got, like I said, some great starter kits if you're new to food plotting for deer and for your wildlife, or if you're a seasoned person and you know exactly what you want. We want you to save some money and still be able to put some great products down into your soil and draw those deer in this fall. Put any questions down below. We really love to hear from you. We'll answer them as best we can. If we don't have the answers on food plotting, we've got the expert Nick Percy in our corner. We can go right to him and get them for you. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time.